Hello everyone and welcome to the 6th round of the Division 3 FRL European Cup. Today we will be racing at Gisborne, and for the first time this season I believe we are streaming a Division 3 race, at least a Division 3 Europe race. And hopefully there will be more in the future. Some other D3 Europe races will be featured as well throughout the season. Actually, now I'm looking at the chat, we actually streamed the D3 Europe race before. Anyway, that doesn't matter. Welcome to this race, as qualifying has now just started. We've got good company in this league. It's a very competitive league, Division 3 Europe. It has some of the best drivers in Division 3, which of course contains two other championships. But out of the 3 championships, this championship is the one which has the quickest drivers, which have turned out to have the best drivers overall. We're watching Edvalidos on his outlap right now, doing his business on his outlap right now, and with me in the commentary box is Wolf. Hello. I guess not. Anyway, we are watching Zero Denial, a very promising driver who has won last time out at Constantina's short or 2 weeks ago. He's had a very slow start to the season, Zero Denial. He's a very quick driver, arguably one of the quickest in the entire league, in fact, as he also raced in Division 1 yesterday. But he is also fighting for the championship in this championship over here, as he is sitting in 3rd place in the championship with 58 points to his name, 28 points behind the leaders, which is a little bit of a gap he has to make up. But out of the last 3 races in this championship, he's won 2 of them, so he's on a good streak right now, and he is hoping to get a strong result once again. But let's see what he can do in this qualifying session, as we ride on board with him for this lap. So that's a corner cut that has cost Zero his lap. Now let's look on board with Jirka, who has just started lap time. Jirka has been a consistent point scorer in this championship so far. He's attended all 5 races so far this season and has managed to score points in every single one of them, with a best result of 6th place in the first round at Flevo. We see Jirka running a bit wide there through the S section, but he didn't lose too much time, so he can carry on for the rest of this lap. Jirka is now going through the triple chicane, looking good so far, playing a bit safe, I feel like, not taking too many risks. You want to get a good lap time in throughout this session. It's really easy to mess up your lap time. It's a very tricky track for hot lapping, as it's so easy to just wanting to push it too hard and then ending up hitting a corner cut trigger, which of course ruins your lap by quite a bit. So better play it safer times. You're running a bit deep through the first hairpin there, going through the hairpin section right now. The final bit looks good, but a bit conservative here and there. But as we see the first times being set by Sukebled and Sensek, with Sukebled setting a 130.4, going provisional pole right there. 8 straight also gets his time on the board, so do Edvard's Regional and Splastar. As Jirka comes to the line, what is he going to do? Is he going to mix it? He goes 4th place with a 132 flat. Let's see who else in the lap time. I presume most people have just finished the lap time. Zero Denial is on track about to start his 2nd attempt, as he managed to ruin his first attempt by cutting turn 1. He doesn't do that this time though, very nicely using all the space that he has available to him. Going through the S section, he's got some traffic ahead of him. Hopefully traffic is going to block him too much, keeping it within the white lines. Nicely done by Zero. Very strong first sector from him, and now on the back straight, a very long back straight. coming up to the triple chicane. Very tricky to spot the right turning point for this corner. Very easy to cut as well, which has caught out a lot of drivers in the Division 1 race, including Zero himself yesterday. But he has navigated the triple chicane beautifully. Textbook stuff from Zero so far on this lap, as he is now approaching the hairpin section, which is a series of 3 slow corners. That's why it's called the hairpin section. 3 hairpins. Misses the apex. Runs a bit deep through the second hairpin. Managed to correct it nicely for the third hairpin. But that's the first mistake I've seen him do this lap. Miss it and going a bit deep too wide through the second hairpin. But he's in final sector. I reckon it's still going to be a solid lap time as Plastar goes second. Very close to his teammate Zuckerblad, in fact. Zero Denial missing the apex of the final corner. Can he keep it within the track limits? Yes, he can. And as he runs up to the line, what is he going to do? And he goes fastest with a 129.7. Not a perfect lap though, as we saw from the onboard, but definitely pushing his car very much, and that has allowed him to take provisional pole by almost 7/10 compared to Zuckerblad. Let's have a look on board with Zuckerblad right now, who is sitting in second place. Once again, going through the S section. Right. Yeah, keeping it within limits. He's got to deal with another car ahead of him. It's from either Mike or Edvard. For some reason his name is not visible.
Now Suka is gonna go through the triple chicane. The second chicane, you want to turn it as soon as possible, and that's a corner cut right there. Suka just ruined his lap with the corner cut, and Splash Starter he just got another corner cut right there.
He's carrying on though.
And I also he goes second fastest with a 129.9. So, yeah.
I think what's going in the check there. Did someone get kicked just now? Not sure what for though. Presumably being a bit annoying in the chat. That's what I reckon. I missed it. I was a bit focused on the timing table. We're now looking aboard with Splaster. Let's see what he can do in this lap. As Region of Veloce goes fastest. And meanwhile, look at the top 3 right now, separated by just over 2 tenths. So very close qualifying so far, especially between the top 2 cars. Splaster, he has just started another flying lap. It will be his last unless he escapes to the pit during this lap, I reckon, because I don't think he will have enough time, or just about. If he finishes his lap, then he sets to pit to do another lap. I think might be a bit too tight. So if I were him right now, I would make sure that this is a good one, and if you mess up, then escape to the pits as soon as possible in order to get another lap in. A little bit of lag going on here, so but it looks good so far. Splastar seems to be able to keep his car on the road, looking like a very strong lap from him so far, as he goes uphill towards the hairpin section, the start of sector 3, as he just crosses the sector 2 line, or the end of sector 2 line. Had to correct his car through the first hairpin though, but looking good. His lap is clean, which is crucial, so he could still very much improve his lap time, as we saw the time set by Zero wasn't perfect either. So Splaster still in the shaft, saying a good lap time. Now this section here is completely flat out, so he has no problem navigating it. Approaching the final corner, the last braking zone. As Regional
a mid 129, but can Splaster can he improve his lap time just to climb up the grid? Where's his lap time going to put him? He goes
improves by a 10th. But he gains 2 places because of that. Good stuff from Splaster right there, and I don't think he's going to have time to set another lap time. So that's Splaster done, I think. We're now looking aboard with Isomus, who is in 3rd place at the moment. Approaching the S section right here. This will also be his flying lap, as he won't have time to come around the track, go around the track and start another lap.
So yeah, Regional, he's on provisional pole. As Zero, he comes across the line. Where's this lap time gonna put him? Oh, just improves by only 45 hundredths of a second. Just
that's not enough for pole, I'm afraid. Good effort by Zero though, as Sukerblet jumps to 4th place, jumps his teammate for 4th place right there. Good effort from him as well.
So yeah, we are less than 30 seconds on the clock for this qualifying session. And looks like Zero, he has actually given up. So that is not going to be pole for Zero. He's going to qualify on the front row. So
we're now
if Regional
watching
goes...
Zomas crossing down, and he goes
yes,
fastest by
fastest.
9,000ths of a second. Look at that. Punting his
But
car
is it
out
gonna
of
go
nowhere
through?
on pole position with a
No, it's
very
not
good
gonna
lap
do.
from him.
But I think Regional just crossed the line for another lap. But is he gonna... Oh,
But
he goes
he's
wide
very
there.
wide. I don't think that's going to be an improvement unless he absolutely nails the rest of the lap. But 29.5 is already a near perfect lap around this track, so it's going to take a lot of convincing from Regional in order to top that, which I don't think he's going to do. We're going to look on board with him anyway. As he approaches the triple chicane, he's still trying to improve, but that's another correction, and that has really messed up his lap, and that's his lap over Sukerblet. About to cross the line. Is he going to improve? No, he isn't. Now we watch Tailfire, who I guess is also on the lap right now, on the flying lap. Sensek appears to be stuck for whatever reason, not sure why. Anyway, Tailfire is approaching the final corner. Going around the final corner onto the main straight, looking good so far. The final corner is looking good for him. Let's see if Till is going to improve his lap time from 8th place. He does, but he doesn't gain any positions and he remains in 8th place. And then we've got 8 straight stalling right here. We've only got Regional Veloce in the lap. He's entering the pit lane, interestingly enough, which is not something we tend to see in qualifying, as usually you just abandon your lap and just press or hold the space button in order to exit the car and start a new lap. Anyway, that's qualifying over. It's Iosomas on pole position by just 9,000ths of a second, with Regional Veloce and Zero Denial in 2nd and 3rd respectively. So there goes qualifying, and very much looking forward to the race. As Wolf unfortunately has left us once again. I'm not sure if what issues he's having at the moment. Meanwhile, we will be moving on to the race shortly with a 1-3 for the Zygon Speeders team, who are sitting in 3rd place in the standings right now with 78 points, quite far away from the leaders in the championship, as we've got 5 lights on right now. Lights out, and away we go for this race. It's almost away from pole position with Zero Denial right behind him. It's a bit laggy at the start. We're going to have to wait and see where everyone will end up, but everyone seems to have gone off the line quite well. You see a few cars running wide here and then. That's one car in the background in the gravel trap. That is Mike Legend, who has gone off through turn 1. Meanwhile, looking at the front, 8 straight with a good start. So has Zero Denial. 8 straight making a big mistake right there, dropping places all the way down to 8th place. And meanwhile, we've got Sukerblet in 2nd, right, with Zero Denial still in 1st place. The 2 Zygon Speeder cars at it right now, trying to get in that team's championship fight, as that is far from settled as well. We got a 1-2 for the team though, and yeah, Zygon Speeders have looked really strong in the last couple of rounds. Last time out they got a 1-2 at Constantina Short, and that has given them a fighting chance in the championship. They still have a long way to go. They didn't score points in the first 2 rounds, which really set them back. But let's see what they can do this round though. As they are now fighting with the Martin Astin of Sukerblet. Martin Astin being 2nd in the team's championship, only 4 points behind Red Stripes Racing, the Red Stripes Racing team of Regional Veloce, and I think that and Tailfire. Still very close between the top 4 right now. They seem to have a breakaway from Tailfire in P5, so the battle for the lead, at least in these early stages, is going to be between those 4 drivers. It's Zero Denier out in front with Isomus just a little bit behind his teammate. It looks like they might be exchanging positions going through the middle sector right now, through the S section into the second sector of this track. As Yeek has now fallen back to 13th place. Not sure what happened. There's some battling going on in the midfield. Some exchanges towards the back end of the top 10. So got Isomus, Zero Denial, Sukerblet and Regional fighting out for the win with Tailfire. Never mind, he is 3 seconds behind. That's a little bit of a gap. And he's got the whole train behind him. So we've got a battle for P1 and P5 right now on this track. Both involving, looking at the background, there are 5 cars fighting for P5 right there, all the way to P9. As we still got the fight for the lead going on, everyone keeping up pace. This is just like Division 1 yesterday, a race of nutrition. And it is pretty easy to hang on to someone's slipstream. The slipstream is pretty powerful, pretty significant around this track, so it's going to play a big factor in cars being able to follow each other and being able to stick to each other. But the thing is, once you start making mistakes, you're going to be dropping off from the lead, as we saw in Division 1 yesterday as well. Once you make 1 or 2 mistakes, you are out of the train, out of the slipstream train, and then you'll be more or less out of contention. But surprise can still happen. We saw Andy yesterday with very strong pace, almost being able to catch back up again to the leading pair in that race. Let's see what this happens. It looks like all 4 drivers coming onto lap 3 now are still in a shout of the lead. None of them are blinking so far. Looks like Region of Loche might be slightly dropping back. Speaking of dropping back, Sukerblet with a mistake right there, dropping back to 4th place. Still crucially within DRS slipstream range, so he will be able to get back in the fight, getting more slipstream than the other cars around him, it seems like, as he's now back in the fight. So it's almost back in the lead with Zero Denial, just a little bit behind him. Someone's trying to take a tighter line than his rivals to gain a little bit extra time. It looks like Region of Loche has dropped off, made a pretty big mistake, and now he's almost being called by his teammate and a whole pack of cars behind him. And we're heading in on turn 1. There's now 3 cars remaining, fighting for the win in these early stages of the race. It's a long race, of course. Anything can happen. There's still 20 laps to go in this race. It's the shortest race in the calendar, I believe, with how high speed this track is, with Division 1, because the Division 1 race took only 35 minutes, while a normal race takes like 39-40 minutes. So this is a shorter race compared to some others because of the high speed around this track. It has the highest average speed of any circuit, and of course the lap times are based on how long the track is. So for example, this track is one of the longest, it's among the longest on the calendar, so it has less laps than, say, Constantina Short, which had 59 laps, because it was a very short track in terms of distance and lap times. Meanwhile, we can see Zero Denial out in front still, with Arizona slightly dropping back, still more or less in the fight. Sukerblet really keeping on the pressure, keeping Zero Denial honest for that win. You are looking further back for the battle for P4. It looks like Region of Loche has been caught by the cars behind him, as he's now fighting with Rice, Blastar and Sensek the Destroyer for P4 in this race, with H-Rate and Tailfire a little bit further behind right there. So Region of Loche has some work to do in this race, so does his teammate Tailfire. They are currently the teams championship leaders with Regional Fluch in second in the driver standings and Tilfai in fourth place, but their team is leading the championship right now by 4 points after a very good opening couple of rounds for them. And there's a what the heck from Tilfai in the chat. I wonder what happened right there. There's still a 5-way battle for P5, P3 right now. What happened there? What happened with Isomas? Isomas dropped that match, Steve. While I was looking at the championship standings, looks like Isomas lost a lot of time and is now back here battling for P3 with 4 other cars. And now it seems like the battle for the lead has come down to 2 drivers between Sukublet and Zero Denial in front, who are exchanging positions right now, as we can see here. Both taking turn 1 pretty well. Zero Denial using a little bit of space. Both getting the same exit pretty much. They are very close to each other, so I don't think they're going to be able to get slipstream from each other. Going through the S section, let's see if they both can negotiate the sequence of corners. Zero Denial running wider, he somehow managed to not lose too much time through there, but that definitely cost him a little bit of time. But he is probably going to get a little slipstream from Sukublet, who is just in front.
But look at that, 5 different teams fighting out for the final podium spot. So, yeah, Splastar could, yeah, Splastar, he is Suka's teammate. Could he make a double podium for Martin Aston? Yeah, so 2 particular battles going on here in this race in Gisborne, with the battle for the lead and the battle for the final podium positions. It is all kicking off here on the 6th lap in Gisborne.
Yeah, so very close between the for 4th place in this race for 3rd place, actually. For some reason, Io Sermons is being shown in 3rd, while or in 4th, or he was ahead on my screen at least for a moment. Now he's in 3rd on the leaderboard as well. Still fighting very closely. The 3. Yeah, it's a very close race so far. We've got the top 2 with a small breakaway. Then we got 5 cars from 5 different teams battling for the final podium position. Then a little bit further back, we've got 8 straight in 8th place on his own right now, and Tailfire pretty lonely in P9 right now, with Edvardidos not too far behind him. Then we got Leon in 11th place in No Man's Land right now, and then Michael Legends and Diego seem to have really fallen away from everyone else in this race, unfortunately. So now looking back at the battle for the lead, Zero Denial and Sukublet still going at it. I wonder if anyone is going to try any interesting tactics. It looked like everyone went for the one stop yesterday, so I'm expecting to see the same here today.
What about the Sensei? He's actually dropped off quite a bit from the pack. Probably made a mistake somewhere. So yes, this is now a 4-car battle for 3rd place. But the battle for the lead is actually still going on between Suka and Zero. So as they come around the final 2 corners,
oh, that might be a corner cut from Zero.
I think Zero might just save the car from corner cutting. But Suka, he's going to take the lead of the race. But coming down, but after the first corner, there's going to be a very downhill long straight. And Zero's going to get an influx of slipstream from Suka's car. And looks like Suka, he's like a little bit, and Zero goes slightly wide right there. But Suka with the better exit than Zero gains a little bit of time, and yeah, the battle for 3rd place is actually still going on. So now who's gonna making the second mistake? So either one of these 4 drivers could be making a mistake. But yeah, the drivers are lagging quite a bit. And look at how close Suka and Zero are. 33 hundredths of a second separating Zero and Suka. Now it's 3/10 separating these two. So yeah, the battle for third place, they are all inseparable. And as well for the lead of the race.
A lot of lag going on between the at the front here, and my POV as well. Looks like the pack behind might be catching up to the leaders right here. So leaders both not having the best pace at the moment. Only 2 seconds separating P3. 1.8 now from the leading pack. As Regional Fluche has a firm grip on third place for now with Isomus, Splastar, and 16 Rice just behind him, ready to undo any of Regional's progress in this race.
So yeah, the all four cars are working tandem.
Whoa,
oh, I think
that's a big corner cut from Regional, and that may cost him a shot at being able to catch up to the top two drivers here. I'm surprised he didn't lose that much time though. He only lost like a half a second, which is less than what I expected. Still lost time though, and that has allowed 16 Rice to be right behind Regional Velocia and putting 16 Rice in a prime position to move up a spot into third place.
Yeah, Suka and Zero still inseparable. Yeah, this is actually a close battle, and Su and Zero might have just made a big mistake there, just cutting the corner and giving Suka a huge advantage of 1.3 seconds. So that's gonna give Suka a little bit of air to breathe.
And now it looks like Zero will be under pressure from Regional Veloce. Regional Veloce is behind, and that's Zero into the pits, a very early pit stop. So do a few other cars. Plastar is in, Ice Ohms is in. Very early pit stop from the three guys. Are they going for a 2-stop? Well, 9 laps is a very weird time to come into the pits, if you ask me. Or they are doing a huge undercut. That would make a bit more sense to me. I think especially Zero trying, wanting to undercut Suka.
So Splastar, he's trying to undercut again. As you saw in the Division 3 Asian Cup, I was there. Splastar pitted a lap earlier compared to this pit stop. Pit on lap 8, he got the fastest lap, but the strategy actually didn't work because he actually dropped from 3rd to 5th. So could he be trying that once more, but just one lap later?
Oh, they are not.
Yeah.
I can say one thing for certain: they are not going to be in a comfortable position come the end of the race. They might be able, especially Zero Deny, he might be able to get the jump on Soka once Soka comes in a few laps later on those fresh tires. And I think Zero Deny will have a little bit of a breakaway if he keeps it clean and keeps up a good amount of pace. However, he will be on a couple of laps older tires in the second half of the race, which is really going to come back to bite him towards the end of the race. I don't think this strategy is going to work. But I believe I saw Zero ping early last time out as well yesterday in Division 1. So who knows? It might end up working for him as Regional Veloce now comes in.
Suzuka slinging out for another lap. So pretty much every driver could be going for a 1-stop because it's only 23 laps in New Zealand. But 8 straight, and so it looks like, and the 8 straight just giving Tail a runoff for his money. But coming downhill to the straight. But look at the acceleration 8 straight has. That slipstream that's helping him massively. Is working a treat for 8 straight. He gets past Tail for 4th place.
Tailfire wanting to get that place back. Obviously, he might be a little bit too close for Slipstream. Actually, he gets a little bit of Slipstream though. And why I'm saying that he might be too close to Slipstream, because for those who are not familiar with the game and to road racing in general, due to lag vision on your screen, you are further up the road than your competitors by a few tenths. So if for example, right here, H-Rate is right behind Tailfire, but I bet on H-Rate's screen, Tailfire is 1/10 behind him in reality, and that means because the other car is behind him on his screen, that he won't get any slipstream, but he won't be getting any dirty air either, even though he runs a bit wide coming out of the hairpin section. I lose a little bit of time because of that, which allows Tailfire to Tailfire looking a
It
bit
looks like
slow on the straights, I feel like, in general. Not sure what's up with that, but Tailfire comes in the pit, so does 8 straight. Both a pretty clean entry for the both of them. Meanwhile, we have Sensek in, we've got Suka in, we've got everyone in the pits right now to do the one stop. Let's have a look at the minimap. I see a few cars passing, that's Leon passing, and that's Zero Denial already coming through to claim the lead. And look at that, that's a massive undercut from Zero Denial, region of Loche and Iosomas. That's a massive gap from those guys to Sukablet, who was previously leading the race. So Sukablet is going to have a lot of work to do in order to catch back up to the leading group. But he will have fresher tyres to do so. So this is going to be a very spicy second half of the race. And it's going to be interesting to see if Zero Denial can hang on all the tyres.
Not only just keeping it clean on the track. It's not just keeping it clean on the track. Tire wear is also a factor in racing in general. So Zero, he can either save his tires, or he can just push like a madman but lose a lot of time at the end of the race.
I think the only thing you can really do in this game is just go as fast as you can and see if you can get enough of a breakaway. There is some tire saving I guess you can do by turning a bit less through corners. Zero Denial is a mouse player, so I think he can do that. However, I don't think it's going to gain him any advantage toward the end of the race. So he really has to really keep it on the edge, keep on pushing, and make sure that he has enough of a gap coming off the race once Suka inevitably is going to catch up to him. Because Sukablet is on much newer tyres, although he's making a few mistakes. The gap from 0 to Suka is 3.7 seconds.
But yeah, this and looks like Leon just had a big corner cut right there.
Oh, Suka running wide. He has lost a lot of time. Has he pitted, Leon? I'm not sure about him. Or he pitted very early because he is falling back quite a bit. I can't remember him being in the fight for the lead in this race before the pit stop phase. I'm not sure where Leon was before the pit stop round. He might have had a very good pit stop in fact, but he doesn't have the pace. I'm not sure whether he pitted very early, whether he pitted around the same time as the likes of Zero and Isomus, or if he's yet to pit. I think he's already pitted though. He's not looking that slow, although I'm not too sure. I wish I could see that somehow.
So yeah, the top two runners, they're both not keyboard players. One is on the controller, which is Suka, and the other is on the mouse, which is Zero Denial.
Suka losing a position to Isomus. Isomus trying to keep Suka occupied, while Suka is trying to catch up to Zero Denial. The gap was 3.6 seconds. It has come down to 2.5 seconds, which might have been helped by the fact that Zero might have made a mistake on that last lap. Either that or Suka has that much of a pace advantage, not too sure. Meanwhile, Suka has to get rid of Isomus in order to continue his pursuit. As Isomus, if he wants to be the team player, he can try to give Suka some extra dirty air and try to hold him up, get in his way a little bit. Let's see how that will work out for Isomus, but I think Suka should realistically be able to get in front of Isomus and then pull away. Unless he gets in front too much, because let's see how he's going to take this section here compared to Isomus. He takes sections pretty much the same as Isomus, a little bit better, but he's barely ahead now, with Isomus possibly getting a little of a slipstream still right there. As Isomus goes back past him on the straight, going into the braking zone. Suka braking late and getting a better run through the first hairpin, and he does through the second hairpin. Let's see how he takes the third hairpin compared to Isomus. He is ahead by a little bit now, but Isomus might be able to get a little bit of slipstream. That's good for him. That's good for him, though, for Isomus, because Sukablet is on slightly newer tyres, but not but not too much newer. So his pace advantage isn't going to be that large, which is going to allow Arisomus to basically being able to keep up with Sukuble in the slipstream and trying to tag himself along while Suka is trying to catch up to Zero in the lead, which he is able to do. The gap is now down to 2.2 seconds, so I'm expecting towards the end of the race, if this keeps up, then Suka's definitely going to catch up and potentially pass Zero Denial for the lead. But catching up to one car is one thing, but overtaking and then trying to shake him off is another thing around this track.
Looks like Zero lost a lot of time. Looks like Zero, he made a corner cut. And looks like, yeah, he's actually done a corner cut, so he's just lost a second to Suka and Iosumis. But Isuka gonna have a go. And Triple K, no, because he's too far back, but he's gonna have Slipstream as well as Iosumis. So yeah, it is literally mouse versus keyboard versus controller. But at the end of the race, which comes out, which is gonna take supremacy? Is either one of those three methods to racing in Roblox. So it could be an Xbox controller that comes out with the win. It could be a mouse or the keyboard. But most of the drivers here in FRL uses the keyboard.
Suka is now about to overtake Zero Denial. He's right behind him right now, pretty much going even through the final corner. And you can see that Suka Blade has got a bit more grip compared to Zero, being on a few newer tires compared to Zero. So Suka Blade having the advantage here. Isomus has also managed to catch up to his teammate. So we got once again a three-way fight for the lead with 7 laps to go in this race.
So yeah, this race is pretty much game on between the Xbox, between the controller and the mouse. So Suka, he's showing that an Xbox controller can work better than mouse steering. But it's too early to call because Suka, he's gonna get slipstream. He's 3 tenths behind Zero. As we go uphill, Suka has slipstream, and it could be on the gearbox of Zero, but Iosumis almost goes down the inside, but yeah, he thought that twice and decided not to go for it because he's too far back. But Zero goes wide, and that's allowed Suka to take the lead of the race. And Tailfire, he's not enjoying this race. He's in a lonely 7th. He's in no man's land. He's currently 4th in the championship. Yeah, Tail not enjoying this race. But it looks like Iosumis, he's actually dropped off quite a bit. He's 1.1 seconds behind Zero and Suka.
Still the fight fully going on between the 3 drivers. Suka with a small lead right now compared to 0 to 9. Meanwhile, looking further back, there's a battle going on for 4th place between Splash Star and 16 Rise. Let's see how those two are getting along. Yeah, they're going pretty much even right now, going through the S section right now. 16 Rise being able to carry a lot more speed through there, getting ahead right now. But Splash Star is going to get a little bit of slipstream. He's going to try to get back past 16 Rise, driving for... I actually don't know what team he's driving for. Let me check that.
Martin Aston and XL Point Racing.
XL Point Racing, yeah, there we go. The Martin Aston and XL Point Racing battling for position on this track. But there are some teams, by the way, that really like to change their cars throughout the season, don't they? They like change what livery they're using every race, which makes it very confusing for us to memorize who's driving which car.
Now in D3, 2 teams using the same livery for the RCM1, which is Lantis, HMC Mazda, and I think Scuderia Squadra with the ePro Racing livery. So yeah, things can tend to be quite confusing because either two teams using the same livery or just one team just having different liveries every single race.
Sensek is reporting to have issues at the moment. He is really complaining in the chat, which he has been doing all race. To be fair, to be honest, he has been really focusing a lot of texting and driving, which you shouldn't do, by the way. For everyone watching, don't text and drive. I wouldn't recommend it, but he's a bit frustrated. He has dropped quite far back from Splastar in front. Splastar was just overtaken 16 rides once again for 4th place. And but he's still 8 seconds ahead of Tilfire, who is fighting with 8 straight full 7th place in this race. Oh, still lots of fight for in this race. Meanwhile, Sukerblatt has got the breakaway from Zero Deny. It seems like he is using his pace advantage to get a breakaway. He's got a solid lead right now from both Saigon Speeders cars. Zero Deny is now catching up to a couple of lap cars. Lap cars, Yika about to go a lap down on Zero Denial. It's going to give him a little reception though by the looks of things. Both heading into turn 1. Pretty close to each other.
Yeah,
Zero
but
Denial running a bit wide, having to deal with a little bit of dirty air, I think. So that's going to cost Zero Denial a little bit of time, and that's going to allow his teammate to close up a little bit. Isoma's trying to hang on to his teammate. Oh, that's a mistake, and that's Isoma's also hitting the wall. They both lost time. It looks like the lap car screwed both of the Saigon Speeders over by giving them dirty air. There's no blue flags. There's no blue flag, so Yika can just try to keep going and stay ahead. That's Zero with a corner cut. So Yika really screwing over the Saigon Speeders right here. As Zero Denial both cars complaining about being held up by Yika. There's no blue flag, so nothing that can be done right here.
And it looks like Zero, he's actually calling this race that it's game over. But unless Isuka makes a mistake somewhere, makes a huge mistake, then Zero and Iosumis could pretty much catch up to Suka. It looks like both Saigon Speedsters want to get past the lap car of Yaka. But it's actually not working out because Yaka is giving dirty air to both Iosumis and Zero Denial.
Looks like they are both getting past right now. Hopefully for them, they are able to pull away from the lap car.
So yeah, teammate.
That's really cost them a lot of time. It has cost them like 1.5 seconds, I think, due to the dirty air. Both making mistakes and really minimizing their chances of catching back up to Sukerblatt, who is now pretty confident right now. So, he's going very wide. Isomas is going very wide indeed. Looking for the back. Tails complaining about track limits from 8 straights. Want to have a look at that, see if anything happens again. Both fighting for P7 in this race, going on the main straight. They're pretty much even right now, so they won't be getting.
Oh, and what happened to Suka? What's happened to Suka? He's surrendered the lead to Zero. So Suka might have made a mistake somewhere, or Zero just gained a chunk of time. From Suka
must have made a mistake. You don't just lose a 2-second lead. I'm not sure what happened there, but this race has been blown wide open right now, with Zero Denial barely in the lead right now. The battle's back on between the two championship rivals. So looking for the work, it looks like Tilfire has managed to pull away from 8 straight for P7. Well, I guess we'll never know what truly happens with 8 straight, and Whitetail was a bit frustrated by his track limits. Someone being able to run wide and not lose time. Yika running very wide in the background.
Those Iosumis, he's still not gotten past Yuka. So so yeah, that could be his race pretty much over because of the lap car, but he gets rid of Yuka quite immediately, and he goes slightly wide. So yeah, Ayosumi could pretty much see his teammates and Suka right in front on his screen, and he's got that clean air just to catch up to Zero and Suka.
Isomer still has a small chance. He's going to get a little bit of slipstream from Zero, so it's not over for
Oh,
Isomus.
but
Meanwhile,
Ayosumi
Sukabled
is in the back
is in the
corner.
lead by quite a bit, and he's on new tires, so he should be able to pull away even more. Meanwhile, I think 16 Rise and Splash have also been catching up a bit to the leaders, considering what has been happening to those guys. So maybe those two might find themselves in an outside shot of a podium if they are really fortunate.
So yeah, this is pretty much Zero almost getting a corner cut right there, just saving the car from getting a corner cut, and that's actually helped him gain a little bit of time right there with slipstream. But with dirty air coming into play, is Zero gonna take the corner cleanly? Yes, he does take the corner cleanly. But as we come to the Estes, and then the end of sector 1. Zero. I think that might be a little bit of lag right there on my screen. And Zero goes
Zero
wide.
very right, so is Isomus a little bit behind. But Zero still hanging on to the slipstream of Sukabled. So it's not over with 1.5 laps to go in this race. Zero trying to use all the space he can to take this corner as well as he can, which he has managed to do.
Ayosumi goes wide behind, but he's gonna lose a few hundreds. So could we see a repeat of the D1 finish we saw the day before? So yeah, it's pretty much game on between the two title contenders, with Zero in the place and Suka in the championship lead. But look at that slipstream. Zero Denial has. Suka just weaving all over the place to break the toe. But Zero just breaking very, very late. As we go on board with Zero Denial. As we come to the final lap of the race, he's 3/10 behind Suka.
Going for an earlier apex right, but he is running wide because of that in the process. He's going to have a little bit of slipstream still, but it looks like Suka might be able to get a breakaway on this final lap of the race. Let's see how they both go on going through the S section right now. That's a corner cut from Zero, and there might be game over for him. But Suka running very wide, hitting the wall very hard, and that has allowed Zero to, out of nowhere, get in front, and Isomus is also getting past Sukabled right now. So Sukabled with a massive mistake on the final lap, which has cost him 2 places, dropping from first to third. I hope he can still salvage something for this, because this is...
Ayosumi with a really bad exit out the triple chicane. So Zero, he could pretty much run away with the third win, if his third win of the season. But Suka, he's catching up quite massively. Could we see a repeat of the D1 race, where the top two are just separated by absolutely nothing? But Zero, he's trying to keep it within the track, limits. As we go to the fast 3 corners right there. So again, like the flicker right twice.
Have it in the back, but Suka is still better in the slipstream. He's gaining and gaining. This is going to be another very close finish right here. As he comes around the final corner, all 3 cars within contention. As he comes around the final corner, Isomus running a bit too wide. It looks like Zero will just barely be able to hang on as they cross the line. Let's see what's going to be. And Zero Denial wins the race by 0.2 of a second. Sukabled bottling it on the final lap, going through the S section. It looked like he had it in the back, but unfortunately that mistake has cost him the win in this race. With Isomus coming home in 3rd place, Splastar in 4th place, and I think that means that for the team's championship that we're going to have a new leader in the team's championship. I think Martin Astin will be able to overtake Red Stripes Racing, where whose drivers Tailfire have only been able to score a handful of points with Tailfire and Region of Luce, who unfortunately has DNF'd in this race. Yearcast finished the race in last place, 1 lap down. Looks like Leon will be able to bring home some points in the last points paying position.
So it looks like a double podium for Saigon Speedsters. Yeah, Suka just absolutely messing up the last lap right there. It was cracked under the pressure from zero, just hitting the wall. So yeah, Suka must be punching the air in the in anger because he's just absolutely surrendered. I think he just surrendered to lead. Oh no, he has not surrendered to lead to regional because he has not finished. Actually, Suka has actually extended the lead of the championship by a huge amount of points. So yeah, it's a double podium for Saigon Speedsters. It's gonna help them in the
It's
constructors.
a big result from Suka in the team in the drivers championship indeed, with another win, his third win of the season to his name. That's going to. Oh wait, Suka got second. Never mind, I screwed up. I'm not really paying attention. Zero Denaya's got the win. He's going to gain some points, but he's quite far away back from Suka. So in the end, Suka is still going to gain points compared to his closest championship rival, who has DNF from this race. So Suka is going to still remain strong in this championship. He has extended his lead to his nearest rival still. Meanwhile, I am going to post the final results on Discord right now, and then I'm going to head off somewhere else because I'm not really fit for this job at the moment.
So yeah, the top three separated by less than a second. So yeah, that's the weekend pretty much done and dusted. So I think the next race is probably at Lodwick.
Let's
Let me
see
just
what the
check the
next race
calendar for.
is. I will check the calendar.
Oh,
Next
it's
week
in
we'll be
Rio.
at Rio Street Circuit in 2 weeks' time. We're going to have a 2-week break right now. There may be a one-off event hosted in the meantime. If anyone of you watching wants to get involved in the league, there is a link in the description to our Discord server. You have to be 13 years or older in order to compete in the league and in order to be on Discord in the first place. So if you want to get involved in future league races and one-off events, which we'll be hosting in the next couple of weeks, make sure to join our Discord server. Thank you for watching the stream after a very entertaining Division 3 race, and we'll see you later. Have a nice weekend, everyone, and goodbye.